Let's take a look. Give me one more slide there. Abraham Lincoln, truth. He said, they were telling him about truth, and he was telling them what the truth was. And, they said, the truth is this, blah, blah, blah. But he wanted to straighten them up on truth. So he said, how many legs would a sheep have if we called the tail a leg? And they quickly answered 5. How many legs would a sheep have if you called the tail a leg? 5. And he said, no, it'd still be 4, because even if you call a tail a leg, it's not a leg. But you see, today people are calling stuff what they want. They're calling things what they want. Their truth is coming out. And truth can change. People can have different opinions, in an afternoon. So we need to know truth. Don't we need to know truth? All right, truth. The word truth in the Greek that's used in this is the belt of truth. It's aletheia, which means an unveiled reality at the basis of and agreeing with the appearance, the manifested and veritable essence of a matter. The unveiled reality at the basis of and agreeing with the appearance, the manifested veritable essence of a matter. Now that's all good, but what is reality? What is the reality of the matter? Some other definition of truth. Pulled these off dictionaries today. Give me another slide there. Another slide. There we go. Truth. An objective standard by which reality is measured. An objective standard. Reality. What is reality? An objective standard by which reality is measured. Objective means it's something that stands outside of us, something we can objectively look at, that stands outside of our opinions, stands outside of what we may frame or culture or anything else, something that stands alone, something that stands there objectively, and it is the standard. Say standard. It is the standard by which all reality is measured. It's fidelity to an original or a standard. Truth is that which confirms reality. What is reality? What is the objective standard? Good question, eh? What is the standard? Well, it's whatever I tell you it is. Well, that's not true, is it? A lot of people think their pastor, he's just like God. Whatever comes out of his mouth, it's so awesome. Thank God I don't have you come to this church to get hooked up to me. I have you come to this church to get hooked up to Jesus. I'm not looking to build a crowd that runs after me. I'm looking to build a crowd that runs after Jesus. My responsibility is to equip you to hear his voice, not to hear my voice. Believe me, hearing my voice every Sunday, if it's not the voice of God, if it's not anointed, it's not out of the word of God, it don't mean nothing. And even with all of my trying, sometimes I can say something stupid and wrong. That's why equipping people is not making you dependent on the guru that you're sitting under. But thank God every one of us can hear from Jesus. My sheep follow me. They hear my voice. Isn't that good? Amen. That doesn't mean your pastor's not awesome. Turn to your neighbor and say, that's true. That's true. That's true. All right, that's true. We're not undermining that. All right. What is the standard? Let me completely reframe this for you. All right, you ready? Look at this picture right here. Here it is. What is that? That is Big Ben. I'm going to be at Big Ben on Friday. I'm going to be in London at Big Ben on Friday. And it's so cool when I'm at Big Ben on Friday. I pull out my phone and I look at the time, and I'm trying to see, does my, iPhone, does it match with Big Ben, I mean, how does our phone, pull out your phone. You got a phone, you got a Blackberry, Blueberry, Squareberry, something. I don't know what you got. Now pull out your phone. Okay, ready? We're all going to check the time. You ready? Check the time. What's your time say? 12:02, 12:02. Everybody got 12:02? Do we all have 12:02? We are all hooked up at the same time. So every one of us, wherever that standard of time comes from, I actually Googled that too, but my computer, I don't know what's wrong with it. It kind of crashed on me a bit this morning, right when I was trying to search. Where does iPhone get its time from? How do they set that? It's GPS. Where does GPS get its time from? When you're at Big Ben, people at Big Ben, they'll walk by Big Ben and they'll look at that and then they'll look at their watch. And if their watch is different, they'll run up the tower and tell the guy in the tower, you got the wrong time up there, you idiot, turn the back of it. Let me tell you this. If you're by Big Ben's not changing. Big Ben's not changing his time. If you don't have the right time, he's not changing. Literally, everybody there, they'll set their time to Big Ben. Let me show you another picture. How many know what that is? That's an atomic clock. It's in Colorado. It's called the, I got it right here. Let me find it for you. It's called the NIST F1. This clock is an atomic clock, and It's actually not even that big. It looks big like that, but it's actually just on a table. But it's an atomic clock. It says the atomic clock is the most accurate type of timepiece in the world, designed to measure time according to vibrations within atoms. It is said to be so accurate that it will not lose or gain even a second in 30 million years. That's pretty crazy. How many knew time was that constant? Like, holy cow. Like, I mean, their atoms are shaken according to a specific time. There is a real time that is established in the fabric of the creation of God. There is a time, and that atomic clock is really, it's going to God's time. And in 30 million years, it's not going to variate even a second. Isn't that wild? What time do you got? You know what? Whatever time you have, whatever time that is, you need to adjust your clock. So I say all of that. I say that because there really is truth. There really is an absolute standard of truth. And because it's an objective standard, if you are not in agreement with that, it's not going to change. You have to change. Isn't that exciting? How many do not like absolute truth? Just me? Am I the only one? I mean, absolute truth freaks me out because I like to keep my options open. I really do. I hate it when there's an absolute right. Even when in Bible school and things, I hated when the professor would give true or false. Because whenever he asked a question and said true or false, I could somehow always find a reason why it was both. And you could argue both ways. And I would argue, like we had a test in one of our courses said, did David dance before the Lord in his underwear? And I said, yes. And I was wrong. He said he wasn't his underwear, it was his undergarment. It was an ephod, which is underwear. It's something you wear under. No, Karl, I meant underwear. You know, like all you said was underwear. So now we got to define terms because did he dance in his underwear? Absolutely. It's absolutely, no, it's false. It was an ephod, which is underwear. And I fought with him the whole time. People got mad at me, and then one person yelled out, what have you got? I mean, what did you get on the test? I went, 44 out of 45. This would be 45. Therefore, it was a very important point for me because I like to be right. And if I think it is a certain way, it is a certain way. But then if I find out there's a truth outside of me that is absolutely right, there's a possibility I might actually think wrong about something. Don't like that. But what I love about the truth is, it is the truth. It's the absolute truth. Let me show you something else. You ready? There's truth, there's my truth, and there's your truth. Well, whoever you run into, there's truth, there's my truth, and there's your truth. Like some people never believe that in my lifetime the Maple Leafs will win the Stanley Cup. That is not true. That may be your truth, but it's not my truth. I'm not exactly sure what the truth is, but I'm praying that they'll win it this year. I'm praying every year, and I will not let go. But you know what? We all got a different opinion about that. I actually don't right now want to hear yours. But there is my truth. And how many know that your truth is moving? How many actually see some things differently today than you did 5 years ago? So what changed, truth or you? You did. Because truth is absolute. Truth is truth. You can think whatever you want, but truth is truth. Now, when you run into people, some people think, well, I think blah, blah, blah. And then I think blah, blah, blah. And people start fighting over stuff. But you know what? Thank God there is truth. But now, if you look at my truth and your truth, my truth intersects with truth, and your truth intersects with truth. And there are areas where both our truth intersects together, and so we like each other in the areas that our truth intersects. So where we agree on truth, we're really happy with each other. But the distortions and the deletions, the things that are missing in my life and truth, in areas where I have a distorted truth, those are areas where there's probably a lot of conflict. But we got a whole lot of people. But God says to us, the very first thing you need to be established in is truth. And folks, truth is a big deal. And you need to realize that we're all moving toward God is unpacking revelation. There's present day truth that is truth right now that God is unfolding right now that we need to be clear on. Some people are saying things about today that are not true. And they're selling books about things today that are not true. And because they're not true, people who believe they're true, they change their whole lives based on those truths. There's prophets who prophesied years ago, not even that long, it was about 6 or 7 years ago, that California was going to fall in the ocean and be gone. There are whole churches that packed up, whole congregations that packed up everything in California and moved to North Carolina because of a word. What we know now is it wasn't true. Or we did the responsible thing, and when we heard that, we prayed, God have mercy, and it didn't happen. But I think people who were on the scene judged it and said it's nonsense. So there's a lot of things. You got to be careful what you hear, because the measure that you hear and the study that you give to what you hear, the same measure it'll come to you. So truth is really important. How many are still with me?